Oh, Rebecca Parham is a funny animator here on the internet. She calls all the people her little oodalollies. Oodalolly, oodalolly, golly, what a day. Yeah.
I cannot express the level that I dislike this.
What? No, that's from Robin Hood, dude. You remember the Robin Hood like Fox animated movie back in the Disney one?
I didn't remember that.
Yeah, well, basically the balladeer, the one who like sings the songs throughout the movie, he basically goes oodalolly, golly, what a day.
Okay, I might vaguely remember that.
Well, they also did an Android commercial. It's just like be together, not the same, and it was like all the different animals like playing with each other. You know, like a pit bull and a tiger, a bear and a tiger like playing together and stuff. A monkey and a dog. It was a really cool commercial. It was friggin' awesome. But just every time I hear oodalolly, I think about that. I think about that Robin Hood movie, and just how much it meant to me as a kid. I used to watch that all the time. I think I still got that VHS out there in like the old tote with all the other like VHSs that I had. Oh man. Well, we're here to watch some Rebecca Parham, aka Let Me Explain Studios, and I guess we're gonna hear her talk about Charlie. Charlie, her dog. So these two were recommended on our Discord. One of them is a short, and the other one is a full video. The first one is called "I Thought It Was a Stick." I'm gonna grab a stick.
Hopefully it's not a
Huh?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go get a stick.
There you go. Legends of Avantris. Yet again, another amazing YouTube channel. Y'all,
this was real.
when you noticed it was coins, you just
swallowed it anyway?
You swallowed it anyway? It's like, I thought it was a stranger.
Frothing mug of coins.
God, anyway. So let's go ahead and get into the first one here. This is I Thought It Was a Stick. The legendary Charlie.
You ever have one of those legendary pets in your family? The kind that was too smart or too mischievous for their own good? The kind that had all the best stories? Well, this is Charlie, the Basset Hound. And Charlie is a legend. Back when I lived with my family, we had a house way out in the country that sat on some pretty decent acreage. Plenty of space for our dogs to run around, explore, and get into trouble. Now, Charlie would typically sleep with me every night, and every night I'd let him out to use the restroom, call him back in, and we would go to bed by climbing an outdoor set of stairs that led up to my bedroom. One very dark evening, I called Charlie to come back in so we could go upstairs to bed.
And
out of the darkness, he zipped past me as quick as he could and ran over to the foot of the stairs, excitedly wagging his tail and waiting for me. That's when I noticed he had found a large stick and was clearly expecting to take his prize to bed with him. Come on, Charlie, you know you can't take this stick with you. I reached down and pulled it out of his mouth, but it became instantly clear to me that something was wrong here. I stood there in the dark holding what I thought was a stick in my hand and said these exact words to myself. This stick is furry. After walking back into the kitchen where there was light, I looked down at the object in my hand and found not a stick, but
a deer leg. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Oh dear. You want to know something really funny? That's not even the weirdest thing I pulled out of Charlie's mouth. He one time brought me the jawbone of a deer, the skull of a raccoon, and a fully intact armadillo foot freshly plucked from a carcass. He was like a magpie collecting shiny things, except the shiny things were just dead. One of the hazards of living in the country, I suppose. You never know what you're going to pull out of your dog's mouth.
Yeah. Okay. Funnily enough, I have we had a dog named Katie. Katie was a good dog. She was a bird dog / cocker spaniel mix. She was a good dog. She ran off somewhere one time, and we didn't find her for like a good 2 or 3 hours. She came back, and when she came back, we didn't think anything of it. We all of a sudden noticed that her belly started getting big. And she had puppies. And Specifically, she had, I think it was 8 puppies. Sadly, 1 was stillborn. But here's the thing. We raised those puppies, and they kept escaping. And there were two specifically. Me and my friend Andrew cared for and everything. One was called Orion because he had a constellation on his belly that looked like Orion. It was actually pretty cool. Basically, he was black and he had white spots on his belly that looked like the constellation of Orion, so he called him Orion. And then there was the other one, a black and white puppy, looked like a cow. I called him Angus. And basically, over time, we sold the puppies off, and eventually it was just Orion and Angus left, along with Katie. And I remembered that Orion climbed into a drain gutter, in the ground, like a pipe drain, and he basically got himself stuck. And I remembered my dad came out there with a shovel and a pair of scissors, and he dug up the ground, and he basically cut into it, and then Angus's head just popped right out and just started looking around, and then Angus climbed out and started running around, and then Angus basically was an escape artist. Every time we would think, all right, we got it figured out, we got the cage properly locked up enough to where they can't escape. Angus would get out every single time. I remembered one time we went to vacation and we came back and they were gone. Turns out my mom and my dad had told my aunt and uncle to sell them while I was gone because they knew that I wouldn't allow it to happen. But yeah, I got mad at them over that because I loved Angus. He was a good dog. He was a good pup. But oh well, that's just life, I guess. But
yeah, I don't have any legendary pet stories. But I liked all of my pets that I had. And I love my current kitty. He's a good kitty.
I would also say there was Rusty. Rusty was a pup he had 2 big problems. Number 1, he was inbred. And number 2, he was abused. And when we got him, he was very skittish, and he wouldn't let anybody touch him. Except for my mom. My mom, within 5 minutes of meeting him, put her hand down, and he sniffed her hand, and then he immediately warmed up to her. Immediately. I'm talking like that. Anytime I came around, he'd run away. He would go somewhere. He would hide under the bed. He would go anywhere that I wasn't. And it wasn't until about a year and a half later, he finally started to warm up to me. And I'm like, Mom, how the hell did it happen to where he warmed up to you immediately, and it took him a year and a half to warm up to me? And that's when Mom was just like, I guess I just got that motherly love kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, that's fair.
It's most likely that whoever abused him was a man.
That's the other thing too. That was a theory that I had. But yeah, pup, Rusty was a good pup, and even near the end, he was we still wanted to help him, even though he got sick, and it was sad. But we got here Rebecca's second video that was recommended. My dog was a menace to society. Let's check it out.
My new favorite thing that we have ever made is now available for pre-sale. More info at the end of the video.
Cool.
Oh, hello, my geeks and peeps, my explainers and entertainers, my little oodle-lollies. Rebecca Parham here. Cozy little scene, isn't it? Just about the only thing it's missing is a dog curled up in front of that fire. Really makes me think about the best and possibly naughtiest dog my family ever had. Let's talk about the legend
also,
himself.
I would shut the curtain since it's thunderstorming. You can get hit by lightning through windows,
Didn't know that.
Charlie the Basset Hound. For those of you who have never had the privilege of owning one of these floppy potatoes, let me clue you in on the main breed
Of course,
characteristic.
it's an animation, so I don't think she's going to get struck by lightning in her animation. So.
Basset hounds are the embodiment of stubborn. People claim that they're stupid, but you see, that's the deception.
They're smart.
Basset hounds know exactly what you want from them, but they're also smart enough to know that the world isn't gonna end if they ignore you. And that was Charlie. If the rules didn't serve him, he didn't listen. I wish I had the confidence of this dog. If his life were a classic hero's journey, he always skipped that step where you're supposed to refuse the call to adventure. Let's say you could speak dog and you're the NPC telling him, hey, you see that treacherous path over there? Don't go there. Big danger. You'll die 1,000 deaths. And he'd be like, well, that sounds like somebody who doesn't want me to have fun. Screw you. No ominous warnings of the dangers ahead. We're gonna keep him from Mount Doom. And speaking of forbidden paths, I lived on my family's ranch back in the day, and the land was divided into 2 pieces. 10 acres fenced off around the house for the dogs, and the rest for our horses. There was one opening in the fence for vehicles to cross, but we put a cattle guard there to keep the horses and the dogs on their own side. And it worked perfectly. That is, until we got Charlie. He, with his big Basset brain, figured out that he just needed to lay flat on the ground like a...
I love that the brain
Until we
was.
got Charlie.
All the way to his
into his
nose.
His big Basset brain.
That's funny.
He figured out that he just needed to lay flat on the ground like a pancake and army crawl his way across the cattle guard.
That's
We would
hilarious.
constantly find him in the pastures just puttering around or hanging out with the horses and the barn cats. One time my mom saw him across the fence chilling by our duck pond, and she yelled, "Charlie!" And for some reason, when he heard that, he looked upwards towards the sky like God was calling him.
Either that, okay, Rebecca, either that, or he was like, oh, well, I heard something, but I don't know where it came from. It's not like I have, like, really good ears to tell me where that came from. Charlie, there it is again. I don't know where it's coming from.
Searched the sky and everything, like the
He was
staircase
just
to the
looking up
pearly
like,
gates was
well,
gonna
let me
appear
think
before
if
him.
I have any fucks left to give today. No,
Nope.
I'm all out.
I mean, all dogs do go to heaven after all. Fun
Aw,
fact,
I
Rachel
love
was the
that
one who
movie.
named him Charlie, but I started calling him Charlie Barkins after the main character in that movie.
Oh, damn. Also, the fact that that's Judith Barcy's last film that she ever did still hurts me to this day, man. I remember watching that movie when I was a kid and just loving it. I mean, but anyway.
And it stuck. He was Charlie Barkins to the whole family until the day he died. He also frequently went by Basset Hound and Da Bass. We call dogs by their breed a lot in our family. Hey, German Shepherd. Hello, Labrador. How you doing, cattle dog? Speaking of cattle, this one time Mom was across the cattle guard putting the horses in the barn for the night. When she was ready to walk back to the house, she spied a very large buck intently staring her down about 30 yards away. She thought to herself, okay, he is big, and he could do some real damage if he decided to get territorial right now. I'm just gonna start walking away. She headed in the opposite direction of the buck, but when she was almost to the cattle guard, something was coming up fast behind her. Oh boy, this is it. I'm gonna have to fight Bambi. Here we go. Turns out that heavy galloping was just Charlie trying to race by Mom and beat her to the cattle guard, possibly to avoid a scolding. Though Mom definitely had a few choice words.
He's like, Charlie, you little shit. Get back over there.
Out of me.
To shout at him as he ran back to the house. Charlie wasn't just a ranch dog. Oh, no, he was a corporate professional. Mom, Dad, and Rachel would take him to the family business all the time where he did very important work.
Oh, look at the boy. Oh.
Like napping and sunbathing and walking from room to room, hounding people for love and affection.
Oh my goodness. I love him. Charlie. Remind you of somebody?
Yeah.
Oh God, Asher is just like that. Asher, like every time we're like walking somewhere, like every time we're about to walk down the stairs to come down here to record, he's always sitting there at the door like, hey, can I come down with you?
But she doesn't usually whine like that whenever we're going downstairs. He just looks at you with puppy eyes.
Yeah. The other time
He's
he,
like, really, you're gonna make me stay over here by myself? And I'm like, you're not by yourself. You're supposed to keep your little brother company over there.
yeah, and then Frodo's over there, like in his, we're carrier training him. So it's until we're able to get him fixed, and everything like that. We're training him in the carrier and everything. It's we take him out like every few hours. He's a good boy. And
but
we also
play D&D or something like that, and Asher has to be on the other side of the dog gate.
Oh my God!
He's within almost reach of everyone, but he can't quite get to people to get pets. Then he starts going. Woo.
Yeah, he puts his head up on the gate, and he's like. Woo, woo.
Why can't I come play D&D? Y'all are right there. Nobody's paying attention to me. This is bullshit.
Exactly. Oh, such a good boy.
There was a girl who worked at our office named Emily, and she would keep snacks and lunch items at her
Uh-oh.
desk. Well, one day, when the whole office was in their morning meeting in the boardroom, Charlie came waddling in carrying something in his mouth. He waited until he had the whole room's attention before setting the item down and looking at everyone expectantly. That's when Emily shouted, "Oh my God, is that my peanut butter?"
Yep.
While everyone was busy in the morning meeting, Charlie had rummaged through her food bag she left behind her desk and stolen her jar of peanut butter.
Oh, you mischievous little scamp. I love it.
Knowing full well he couldn't get into the good-smelling jar himself, he brought it to the humans to open it for him. Acting like he totally didn't just do something naughty. Charlie, you're fired. Thing is, that wasn't the only time he did something like that. At the ranch, we kept all the dog treats in the pantry, a place Charlie knew he wasn't allowed to go.
No.
But if someone mistakenly left the box of milk bones on the floor of the pantry, he would go in, take just one, find the nearest human, and lay the treat down in front of you to ask for permission to eat it.
Wow.
It was almost like he was saying, hey, I can have this, right?
Yeah,
well,
sure.
I guess you can, since you asked so politely. Rachel tells me that he one time did this with a whole unopened box of treats, just pulled it from a grocery bag and laid it at her feet, expecting her to open it. I don't think any normal misbehaving dog would just take the box somewhere and tear into it.
Yes.
But not Charlie.
That's what my cat would
such
do.
things were beneath him. Why should...
Well, yeah, of course they're beneath him, because he's like, why do the work myself when humans can do it for me?
he get his paws dirty when one droopy-eyed stare makes every human do anything he wants.
Oh God! Also a Spurs jersey. Oh, if Evan were here right now, he'd be like, "That's my boy right there. That's my boy." He's a huge Spurs fan.
And the face was so cute, I would burn down all of society for him. So one time, Charlie needed surgery, ironically, on his stomach. Probably shouldn't have eaten and destroyed so many things you weren't supposed to. Rachel went to go pick him up at the vet after the surgery, but when she entered the lobby, she heard a very mournful...
I guess because Rebecca couldn't be bothered to, actually draw her, walking. Well, her and her sister have, a constant rivalry.
Howl coming from the back. And it just kept going, even as they led her into an examination room to wait.
It's a haunted vet.
Oh, God, that's him, isn't it?
Charlie, that's enough.
Yep, it's him. Poor baby was so unhappy coming out of anesthesia that he howled from the moment he woke up until they brought him out to Rachel. A different time, he needed to be put under for a series of tests, and when we brought him back to the ranch, he wandered over to my dad's garden, sat down, and just stared off into space in that spot for hours.
I would imagine that's what he would see, except colorblind, because dogs are dogs can only see 2 color ranges, and that's sad. I think they can only see blue and yellow.
I called him to come back in a few times, but dude was on another planet at that point.
Yup.
Didn't even notice my presence until I physically touched him.
Huh?
Must have been having one hell of a trip. A few more of Charlie's
I've
main
had
quirks. Look at this. Whenever he was just chilling, he would lie with his hind legs out to the side like this, or stretch backwards like this. We'd walk by and call him Superman when he did that. He was also a summer bum because he loved jumping up on the pool furniture and soaking in the rays like he was getting a tan. Only thing he was missing was a coconut drink with a little umbrella. Another thing he loved was when I wore long skirts because he would treat me like his own personal tent. And every single time, he would peek out from underneath it with the cloth draped over his head like this. I'm pretty sure he was fully aware of how cute he was. And finally,
so
he could always tell when I was having period cramps and thought he was helping by lying on top of me. I appreciate the concern, Charlie, but I don't think your treatment's working.
No.
But then again, that always was Charlie's favorite place.
My cat
On
does the
your
same
lap.
thing when I have
Now
a
I'll-
tummy ache sometimes. Just be
Yeah.
like, my tummy hurts, and all of a sudden I feel, and I'm like, oh, and then he just lays down. I'm like, dude, come on, man.
I was gonna say, I remember one time I was sick. I think I had like the flu really bad one time, and I remember I was in my bed. I was asleep in my bed, and I was just like chilling. I was just like really like cold and everything. I was like miserable, and then I felt something at my feet. And then just like lay down at my feet, and I peek my head up, and it's Bella. And Bella just like she's laying down there, and I'm like, "Hey, Bella," and she peeks her head up. She like looks back at me like this, you know, like if you were where I'm at, she was like this. She's looking back like, "How you doing?" And I looked down at her. I gave her a pat on the head. And then she like came up next to me and like slept right here next to me, which she almost never did. She always like slept behind my knees. She always slept like at my back. But this time she slept in front of me right here, like while I was like sleeping on my side, and she just like cuddled up to me and just like put her head right here next to my arm. And I was just like, "Hey, Balbo, hey, baby girl," and just I petted her, and then. I gotta be honest, like, just having that, like, support around you she basically was like my sick emotional support dog. And, God damn it, I miss that fucking dog, dude. I miss her so much, man. She was such a great dog.
The fiddle/violin has a bite taste.
I saw that earlier.
I wonder why that is.
I don't know. Maybe it was... Charlie? I don't think Charlie bit into her.
I was going to say maybe it's made out of chocolate. I don't know.
You know what? Maybe
Chocolate
that's the
lion.
case. Maybe that's the case.
All of these stories were just the tip of the Charlie iceberg. Trust me, I would love to make another one of these videos, so please give me every reason to.
Do
I
it!
wanna keep the legend alive. Thank you so much
I was
for...
thinking, like, I love the way he's animated, and he could be a cartoon character.
Yeah, honestly,
I would like to see, like, a mini-series of just Charlie antics. That'd be funny.
Yes, please do. Rebecca, as many as you wish to make, whether it just be this one or 20, I will watch as many Charlie stories as you want to tell, because I love pet stories. Pet stories are fun. Pet stories are just freaking fun. Actually, you know who's your legendary pet right now? Vega.
Yeah.
Because think about it. The one time he went out the front door, he ran off not to be seen again, only to come back and be seen in the garage later, just sitting there. You came out and he was just looking up at like...
I didn't come out. Kason went out.
Oh,
We found
okay.
him and brought him in.
It was just like, he just looked up like...
Like, I went to take a nap because I was just distraught and didn't know what else to do. And when I woke up, he was, like, next to me. And I was like, ah!
That
You
must have
son
been...
of a bitch!
Oh my god. That's awesome. Hey, buddy.
Charlie?
Yep.
Now available for pre-sale, the official Let Me Explain Studios premium sketchbook. This is my absolutely favorite thing we have ever made. The cover is so pretty. The first few pages feature behind-the-scenes art from my videos, and in the corner you have a little flipbook of Toon Becca dancing. These are professional qualities. The pages are so silky smooth, it feels like butter to draw on them. So whether you're a seasoned professional or an absolute beginner looking for your first sketchbook, you can pre-order one of these by clicking the link in the description below.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. So, Rebecca, let me tell you this. You can make as many of these as you want. Hold on. So there we go. There's so yeah. Honestly, I would love to see more of these by Rebecca, because this stuff honestly warms my heart. It does. It truly and totally warms my heart, and it puts me in a good place. And I love thinking back on like the pets that I've had, and honestly this right here is just so good.
Asher's funny too. He has different things he does that are kind of legendary in a way.
Oh yeah?
One of my favorite things is the fact that he is the dog bell. If you activate the dog bell, you have to deactivate the dog bell. He will not deactivate on his own.
Yes.
So if you don't come see him and say hi to him, he will continue to bark until you do.
Yes.
So that's funny to me.
Yeah,
It's like you always have to explain to people because they'll come in and stand in the foyer and then he'll just be going, whoa, 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 whoa. The whole time they're having a conversation. I'm like, if you don't go over and talk to him, he's going to keep doing that, just so you know.
Yeah, you have to press the dog bell.
Yeah.
Or pat the dog bell.
You have to go turn off the dog bell.
Yeah.
Because we can't turn it off. It doesn't turn off unless the person who activated it turns it off.
Exactly. It's like every time Caleb and Micah come up here, they're just like, there's like, Asher! And then he's like, boo! Boo! And then I'm standing there like, hey man, how's it going? It's been a minute. Like, it took y'all a while to get here. And they were just like, yeah. And then I'm like, y'all need to go get that boy some pets because he ain't going to shut up until you do.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they go in there and they love on him.
My friend Chance came by for a little bit today and I told him the same thing, you know.
Did he pet him?
So, yeah. He
Nice.
walked in the foyer and I was like, hey, let's go over here and say hi to him or he'll keep barking.
Exactly.
But we smoked on the porch before he came inside and he was barking the whole time. I was like, hush puppy, and then he hushed for a second and all of a sudden, boof, 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 boof.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, he's going to do that until we get back inside.
He can't help himself. He's such a good boy. He is such a good boy.
Excuse me.
You alright?
Like me trying to do dog sounds nearly killed me.
Fair enough. So, try not to die. So, alright.
Not to die.
So anyway, that's going to do it, everybody. This was My Dog Was a Menace to Society by Let Me Explain Studios by the one and only Rebecca Parham. And yeah, I would love to see more of these, Rebecca. Please. Yes, and thank you. As many as you're willing to animate. I mean, honestly, I will be more than happy to sit here and watch these to hear you tell stories about your good boy. Also, you know, just it's cool that you actually grew up on a farm. And it's cool that you grew up on a farm and, you know, with cattle and, you know, 10 acres of land for, like, your pets to run around on. That's awesome. And here's the thing, we have a pretty good yard, but it's about 2 acres. We have about 2 acres of land here for them to run around on, but still then it seems like it's not enough a lot of times. But anyway, yeah, so this was a great story. This was a great video. And I want to see more, so hopefully here's to more. Let us know what y'all thought in the comments down below, and I guess until next time, I'm Nate.
I am Nick.
Y'all be good people. Take care. Peace.